Danny, obviously this movie brings us back to a world that you helped create all this time before. Did it feel like picking up, an old conversation, or did you have to look at it from a completely different standpoint?
You have to carry things, because you are suggesting with the title that you're in the same universe. But we wanted to start afresh, really. We wanted to have our cake and eat it, really. So it's the same infection, except it's evolved. The virus has mutated, or, variants have emerged out of it. But we wanted to be in a different place. That was really important to it. The Holy Island setting, this Causeway Island as a place to survive, for survivors to have flourished, is really important to it, because it allowed us to go, it's not London, it's not a capital city, that image that you get at the beginning of the first film. It's a new landscape for the horror to happen in.
Was that difficult? Because I had a chance to see it last night, and it felt so much the same, but so different. I don't think I've ever had that cinematic experience where I knew the world I was in.
You knew where you were, but
at the same time,
different. Every
turn was like, oh, I didn't expect that, and I didn't think I was going to like this. And
so that's what we wanted to do. That's what we were trying to do. Alex and I were determined to kind of... And we were very lucky because Cillian Murphy, Jim from the first film, has been involved in the planning of it. And the plan was not to use him early on, because then it would have felt too similar. You'd felt too obviously connected. You want to give the sense of a journey that's going to eventually end up in a place. And that place is obviously going to be Cillian Murphy. So you'll have a bigger arc back then to the first film. That's the idea of it,
How difficult is it to get to that point? Because obviously I know we're, a quarter of a century removed, but it seems so well thought out to the point where I can't help but feel like since 2002, you guys have been crafting this way bigger picture.
No, we haven't. But the world has been confirming some of the ideas in that film. Obviously the most obvious example is what COVID did to big cities overnight. That transformation of something that looked unimaginable outside a movie. Suddenly we all had the evidence of it in our own backyards. So there was that, but there's also the fact that the rage virus, if anything, as an idea, that's become more present. People are much more intolerant of each other. You get it because you're looking back 23 years to making the first film. You think, well, if anything, it's worse now. People's tempers go from 0 to 100 much more quickly than they ever did back then. We did it in a very specific way. It was a sort of sci-fi idea. There was a small example of it, road rage, but it wasn't everywhere. Now it appears to be everywhere. You got all this stuff of people just going mad with each other over nothing. I blame the phones. It's the obvious culprit, because it's the one thing we've got since then that has become a tool everyone has, makes you feel powerful. You aren't powerful. So that discrepancy makes you feel angry. You think, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like, anyway, so it's nice to do a film that uses the phones in a way that we use them for this kind of film. So there's a kind of meta thing in there as well.
If you could show the Danny Boyle of 2002 a frame from this movie, which frame would it be and why?
If it's one frame, it's the picture of the Angel of the North in the countryside. With the countryside growing around you, yet it still remains as a symbol that we've been here. Mm-hmm. We've actually been here. If it was a moving thing, it would be when the Alpha drops down in the train and you spin around the 20 cameras and he's holding something.
Mm-hmm. Something very scary.
Yeah, I love that moment. That's a kind of, I worked very hard to get that moment. Yeah. You have to do a lot of stuff to get your favorite bits. Those be two of mine. Yeah.
Oh, you imagine. Thanks, Danny. It's been great.
Oh, great. Thanks very much.